Hello all. Been working on my rivers for my 6 millimeter project. So I've settled on a similar thing that I did with my roads. So many of you have seen caulking used for roads. A lot of guys just kind of put it down on wax paper and that's it. I find that the caulking tends to kind of roll up a little bit more than I like, and it doesn't quite lay as flat. So this is what I have found. I start off with a piece of calico cloth, just a kind of a thin piece of cotton cloth. This is blue because it just reminds me that I'm supposed to make rivers out of this. This is obviously a bigger river than the little creeks I have in front of me. But what I do is I saturate this with the caulking. And so I'll wear gloves, and I'll put caulking into like a bucket, and then I'll put the caulking on my gloved hand, and then I will just use that to saturate the cloth. I'll lay that on top of an old mirror or a piece of glass or something that I can scrape up later. I let that dry overnight, and then I come in and paint it. So if I'm doing roads, then I use brown. If I'm doing rivers, then I have gone with kind of a deeper shade of green here. So do that. I use a little bit of the ink to get inside the texture that is left when you use the caulking. And then with the roads, what I do is I put them in kind of a bag of sawdust, and that typically takes the tacky feel that sometimes caulking can have on there. So here are the rivers though. So as you can see, blue, it's saturated. With that, it's still got a cloth. I find that it doesn't slip too bad when you put it on a table. Obviously put a green in, and then I actually did this by airbrush just to give me kind of a nice gradient green, a little darker strip there in the center. And then one thing that's different from my my roads is that I put clear caulking on top of that. And so this is caulking as well. This gives me the shiny thing, and then obviously gives me the texture as well. The shine on that really messes up the camera. So so I put it down, and then I'll just smear it with my hand. I'll run it across, and that gives me kind of the texture of the river running through there. So when you rip up the cloth, you can see that you got some fraying that typically happens. You are using some fairly thin cloth there. And so I'll come in and just, with a regular pair of cloth scissors, I'll trim up the edges and do that. But you can see it's very sturdy. It doesn't warp too bad, and it lays on a table nice and flat. So anyway, that's my idea for rivers and roads. It's not terribly original, but it's how I make it. So hope that helps.